My name is Jeremy Walton, and this is something every filmmaker should have. Let's go! Have you ever been in a really long line at the airport? Of course you have. I've been there, and you kind of just freak out inside. If there's a faster, more efficient way of doing something, I'm all for it, and you should be too. TSA Precheck and Global Entry. Maybe you heard of it, maybe you haven't, but that's what I'm gonna talk about today. I'm gonna go over the application process and a few perks every filmmaker should know, so stick around until the end. Now, if you've seen my other filmmaking travel tips videos, you know I try and fly first class, for many reasons. Here's the issue. Even though first class usually has a separate line when entering security, there has been a handful of times when they've just mixed everyone together. And not because it was slow, it was actually pretty busy. This has been happening more and more lately, so I thought it was time to put an end to the madness. To fight this problem, you'll have two options: TSA Precheck and Global Entry. So let's talk about what you need to get. If you're a filmmaker or travel a lot, I recommend getting Global Entry. If I didn't have a travel agent, I would have gone with TSA Precheck because that's what you hear about. I wasn't even aware of Global Entry. Just another reason having a travel agent is a good idea. The main difference between the two that you should know is Global Entry is basically TSA Precheck, but works internationally as well. TSA Precheck alone doesn't. When it comes to price, Global Entry is only $15 more than TSA Precheck. So you'll be spending $100 instead of $85 for a 5-year membership. Not a bad deal. Just a side note, if you get TSA Precheck, you can't upgrade to Global Entry if you decided later you needed to travel overseas. That's why it's a no-brainer to spend the extra cash up front, because as a filmmaker, you never know where you'll be traveling to. So this is the Global Entry website. I'll put a link in the description to help you out. Just make sure you're on the right website. I suggest clicking on the frequently asked questions. If you have a specific question or want to learn more before getting started, this is the place to be. To give you a heads up, there are a few things about Global Entry I want to mention. And the first thing is you will need a passport to apply. If you don't have one, that will be an extra cost. But if you're in the entertainment business, this is something you should already have. You don't want to miss out on a job because you don't have a passport. The second thing you'll want to do is look up the locations for the Global Entry interview. You just have to click on Learn About the Programs and check interview availability. You just have to scroll down so you can view the locations they have available. I'll get more into that later, but the locations are limited, so check first. The last thing I want to mention is some credit cards will reimburse you the $100 application fee. And you can't beat free. Yeah, free. Think about it, you could be standing in line right now watching this video, and for free, you could have skipped a line. I'll let you soak that up for a minute. Go ahead, go. Okay, I feel like I've been talking like forever, so let's start the application process. It's simple enough. Click Get Started, then Consent and Continue. Getting started will involve 3 areas, which are Account, Application, and Interview. Click the Continue button, then create an account. Type in your email address and submit. Still with me? Good, because the next part you'll be on your own. You'll receive a link to confirm your email and to set up a password, something I'm sure you've done a million times. You'll also get a personal key. Print this out and keep it in a safe place. Trust me, this will all make sense. Just go through the steps and you'll be good to go. When you're all done, go back to the main page, but instead of getting started, you want to log in. The next step is to fill out the account profile page. Fill out your name, country of birth, city of birth, email address, phone number. Once it's complete, hit save. We're making progress. As you can see, the account section is complete, so we can continue. I'm a US citizen, so I mark yes, and I want to apply for Global Entry. Then click here to specifically apply for Global Entry. There are other options concerning border crossing, but that's not what we're covering today, so I'll let you check those out for yourself. Scroll down and hit Next. You can read over the application requirements, but a lot of this was covered in the frequently asked questions section. That's why I wanted you to check it out ahead of time. How did you hear about us? Well, my name won't be an option for you, so other or word of mouth will do. Now you can apply for Global Entry. This is the section where you'll be answering a lot of questions and filling out information. I know it can be daunting at times, but well worth it. The Global Entry application has 9 sections, which include personal info, documents, driver's license, vehicle info, address info, employment info, travel history, additional info, and final review. Whew, that was a lot. Don't judge. Yeah. Oh, good to go. Okay, there's Way too much info and personal info to go through every section. But for example, let's look at employment. Under employment status, pick the option that fits your situation. Then start date, occupation, employer, etc. These are the type of questions you'll get on your application. Once you've completed the application, it should look like this with green check marks. If you have a red X instead, that means there's an error that you need to fix. You also have to go through the list and confirm each section is correct before moving on. If I were you, I'd also download and print your application for safekeeping. Now you want to save and continue, certify, then pay now. You'll have the option to either pay by credit card or checking account. Okay, let me just say the hard part, the bulk of this application is over, but we're not quite done yet. In your dashboard, you can see your application is in process and is pending review. You'll have to wait for conditional approval. This only took a couple days for me, so hopefully it's the same for you. So we're back to the good old waiting game. What to do? Oh, got a new one. All right, question. In Pulp Fiction, Mia brings Vincent to a themed restaurant. What is the name of the restaurant? Comment below if you know the answer. No cheating. When you've been approved, you'll see the green check mark, so it's time to schedule your interview. This page probably looks familiar, so just scroll down to the location you want and pick the day and time that's available. Once you have that sorted out, again, make sure it's confirmed and view the interview confirmation. You want to print this out and bring to your interview. It'll have directions, your application ID number, and any other special instructions you'll need. As for the actual interview, let me talk about that for a second. I had to go to LAX, which really wasn't a big deal because that's like a second home for me. The worst part was finding parking. The directions they gave for the office location, I have to say, were pretty good. And the US Customs and Border Protection sign really stood out. There was about 10 people online, but they were running behind. No matter what, I would just show up early. Check in with your interview confirmation letter you printed. And as a side note, don't bring your video camera. They shut that down real quick. The interview was simple and only lasted a few minutes. They just wanted to confirm everything on my application was correct. They will take your picture, so don't wear your hat like I did. Overall, quick and painless. After the interview, it only took a couple days to officially be in the system and start using global entry. Your membership card will take a bit longer. Mine was less than 2 weeks. You will have to activate it. It's like getting a new credit card. Just log into your account and enter the security code on the back. If you've made it this far, I'm sure you can handle that. And that's the global entry application process. I've had it for a while now and I love it. When you're at the airport, look for the TSA Precheck lane. Remember, you have global entry, but that includes TSA Precheck when flying within the United States. For the most part, the lines will be short or significantly shorter. You won't have to take off your shoes or pull out your electronics. That alone really speeds up the process, and when traveling with film gear is a huge advantage. This just makes my travel experience even better. And for me, it didn't cost a dime. But even if I had to pay the $100, I would still recommend signing up. Well, there you have it. One thing every filmmaker should have, global entry. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button because there's more on the way. Subscribe so you don't miss out. But until then, comment below. Let me know if you're getting global entry. And as for this episode, it's a wrap. I'm gonna have another drink.